esteemed entrepreneurs, innovators, as well as fellow out-of-the-box thinkers, it's really indeed a privilege for me to stand here and speak to you tonight. I do not want you to be bored because I think you guys are so energetic. I was trying to figure out how do I sell BIPA's story to such a dynamic and innovative crowd. I think first I must really applaud this Basecamp event. I did not know about it, I apologize. But now I know, and I think going forward I would really be interested to come and attend and see the growth and also see the different entrepreneurs that emerge from this platform. So I want to congratulate you and really thank people like you that give an opportunity to our upcomers to just set their feet on the ground and move forward and introduce them to entities like BIPA and NAMRA, which is really part of their journey in moving from being an entrepreneur and maybe becoming a business owner and trading with other people. So as we sit here today, I'm reminded of the spirit of innovation as well as being resilient in this dynamic and fast-changing environment. I think it takes courage, it takes guts, and it takes a spirit of wanting to transform your life to get to where you are today. And as I said, I really applaud you for that. The world that we live in is really changing rapidly. You guys are born in an age where technology is at the forefront. We were born in an era where it was paper-based. Some of our institutions like BIPA, if I talk about business registration, we remain paper-based for now, but hopefully not for long. So I think you guys are privileged that you have access to so much information, yet you are also challenged because the information can be tainted or tampered with, or it can be an overload. It confuses people sometimes. So I think you need to find that middle ground to leverage and get the right information that can guide you. So I come here to try and guide you insofar as it relates to what we do at BIPA. So at BIPA, we were established, I think, some time back. You'll see in our presentation. But we are really responsible for a number of legislations. So we have the BIPA Act, which is our enabling legislation. And under that act, we are then empowered to administer certain legislations. And all those legislations relate to all of you. We have the Companies Act, which speaks about the formation and how you then administer an entity through its lifetime, and then eventually if you decide then to deregister it. We have the Close Corporations Act, which is similar, but it deals with an entity which is a bit different from a company, in that with close corporations, it's human beings that are the owners. With companies, you can have human beings and other companies or legal persons that can be there. And of course, the structure is slightly different. Then we do the administration and registration of industrial property. So industrial property entails intellectual property rights. They can vary from patents, which speaks to, like, if you develop a formula on how to, what is it, like when we were having COVID and people developed sanitizers and different types of chemical combinations that really are supposed to enhance your level of protection. Or medication, you go to the pharmacy, you buy medicine, then they tell you, no, maybe you want the generic type. So there you get licensing to be able to produce that. So it falls within the IP framework. We also have trademarks, which is critical and important to what you do, because a trademark speaks to your brand. When you have a product or when you innovate, you want your product to stand out amongst the crowd. You want the name of your entity like NAMRA to stand out and just be there. So if you see NAMRA, you know exactly you're speaking to orange and blue team. At BIPA, we try to compete on the orange, but if you see BIPA also, you see the orange, but we are all on that platform. So it's important, specifically your name, as I said, so you don't want me to come and choose the same name, Basecamp. Suddenly I become Basecamp whoever, which is really something that you stand on. So you want to ensure that you are protected. You have logos, you say think outside. You should be able to use that uniquely for yourself. So that's where what you find in trademark. Then all of you, I don't know, those who have money, you like brands. He uses an iPhone, you like to wear Dolce & Gabbana, and those are really important brands that you have in the world. So that's what we do on IP. If you are an artist, you perform, you sing, you write novels, or you are a photographer, We do that in terms of copyright also, which is another law that we administer under BIPA. So you can see the big area that we cover, businesses as well as intellectual property. So that's where you come to get protection, to ensure that others would not use your products without your permission, or at least pay a royalty if they do so that you can earn then or reap the benefits of your own innovation. So that's what we do. Now, we then look at who is our bosses. So we only have one shareholder, and that's the government of the Republic of Namibia. That shareholder is represented by a line minister, that's the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade. And of course, as a public enterprise, we also report to the Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises. So that's in terms of who our bosses are. Now, why is BIPA important? And I think why is it that we have been invited to come and speak to you today? Now, what BIPA has been set out to do is very important, because we are supposed to create that environment for you as engines of this economy to be able to operate in, to be able to produce your goods and services, to work in it, to fail, to come up again and try again, but at least within the framework of the protection that is there. We are supposed to make it very easy for you to do business. And when you do business, you do it in the country, you set yourself up to compete with others, because when you try to attract investors, they look at which country do I go to, where is it where I can find opportunities or at least set up my business fastest. And there's a lot of competition around the country. So our mandate is really to try and transform which was normally operated under the Ministry of Trade, and then make it as professional as possible, the way we render services, the accessibility of the services by the community, and also that we capacitate you as a business owner to know what are your rights, what can you do and what can't you do. That's really our core business. In that part also, we collect a lot of data. Like, we have a business register that has about 230,000 entities. So you can imagine, if you want to know, please, can you send me a list of all the businesses that are in the tourism sector? Maybe you are interested, it's available. If you go on BIPA's website, at least you can look for names of entities. You would know, okay, this is a legally registered entity and so on. So we really have a big database of information that we also use to assist government, for example, if they need to make policy decisions or decide, I want to go to Erongo, what type of business opportunities are there? So things like that. That's what we are supposed to do when everything is perfect. So in that way, it's the service we are supposed to render to you. We are supposed to render the service to you indiscriminately, meaning that if you sit in, Aus, you must be able to access BIPA services like anybody, like the person in Windhoek. But we are not there yet, because as I said, we are manual when it comes to business registration, and therefore people tend to struggle with, how do I get to BIPA? How do I register my entity and so on. So those are the challenges that we have in terms of an organization. Similarly, also with intellectual property, when I say intellectual property to you, maybe you did it at school, maybe under your subjects of entrepreneurship. But many people, when you say that, they literally start wondering, what is it that you are talking about? But if I simplify to tell you, it's actually your brand, it's your logo, it's, Yeah, because you sell a brand, and it has to have a name, it has to attract, and that's what you protect, so that I don't steal it. And that's why when you start a business, you can't just think, I have to develop this thing, I must get people to buy. You must also think, this is my idea. How do I make sure that I earn or reap the benefits of the idea, and I transform it into a commercially viable business idea? And when it comes to IPs, you also have to know how to commercialize them. In intellectual property, they have value. They are called intangible assets. It means that when your accountant or auditor is doing your books, the same way if you had a house, they would say these are your assets. Your intellectual property is also part of your assets, because for the lifetime that they are protected, you then earn certain royalties, whether it's because people are using it or at least you are protected that it's exclusive to you too. So when you think about your idea, don't just think about it as putting it out there. Think about how can I protect this idea so that while it's novel and new, I can reap the benefits of it because of the hard work that I've put into. So think of trademarks when you have your business and you want to do it. In terms of our challenges at BIPA, we have various projects that we are undertaking. The first one is, if you see us, we have now gone into the phase where we are going for awareness across the country. We try to go to events or places where the public can access our services, and we are able to roll out the services 100%. Currently, I have a team that is at the Ongodiva Trade Fair. 2 weeks ago, my team was in Rundu and Zambezi, and then they came down. So we are going across the country. Because we don't have offices, we at least set up those temporary offices. So you can go wherever you live, listen to the media, go to our websites, you'll know where we are. Because in this coming months, we are going out again to the rest of the country. You find us, we are there, we can reserve your name, we can register your entity. Literally, they do it in a day's time. You have your registration documents. What we normally do when we register businesses, we have 3 copies. One of those copies we send to NAMRA. NAMRA is supposed to receive a copy of registration immediately upon registration. So we send it there. So they would know that you are registered. And if you are supposed to pay your taxes, they would pick it up, in terms of that. So it's not that you are not known. They will find out whether or not you are supposed to pay taxes or not. So we have those collaborative relationships that we have. Now, for a startup, some of the things that I'm saying, they sound so heavy and challenging. But it's almost like your own idea. The challenge that we have is we tend to pass our responsibilities to others. When we are registering businesses, we say, no, I don't know how to do it, I'll use a consultant. For BIPA, consultants are people, they're also running businesses. But the challenge is they tend to increase the cost of registering a business to seriously unacceptable levels that it concerns us. You'll find somebody, they tell you, I registered a business, I paid 25,000. I'm asking, but why? Because if you come to BIPA, you pay for a name reservation, is 75 Namibian dollars. When you have to do and follow through for the registration of your closed corporation, it's another 150. If there is additional cost, is for you to get an accountant to give you a letter of the accountant that is part of the registration process. That is it. Now you find people have paid thousands and thousands of dollars. It's a problem. So for us, it's important for you to own your process. You must read, you must learn. We have information on our websites. We have pamphlets that you can get that say how to register a business, what informs you. And if everything gets stuck, you come to BIPA, you say, look, I need you to help me. My staff members will be there. They can explain to you how to complete the form, take you through the process. So do not pass your responsibilities of ensuring that you register the fit-for-purpose business to others. Make sure that you know it and you are part of the journey. Otherwise, you'll pay a lot of money that is not necessary. And it makes it easier then for you to start your business without having debts and so on. So really, that's what I'm asking you. The other one, of course, our processes, we are busy with reviewing the law insofar as it relates to the Companies and Closed Corporations Act. We want to simplify the law so that you have one business law. You don't have to go from one act to another act. We want to modernize it also because the last time our laws were amended were in 2004, but in actual fact, that law is the 1973 law. So as a country, we are really behind when it comes to the rights, obligations of businesses, and we want to align. As I said, we don't operate in silos. We compete with Botswana, with South Africa, with Angola, with the whole world. So we must be on par and simplify it. Also to simplify and allow us to automate our processes so that you sit at your house, you sit with your cell phone, you don't need to see any one of us because everything is simple and it's explained and it's registration within minutes. We are available to you 24/7 and not now that you are 8 to 6 and office is closed, you are frustrated and so on. So in terms of our timeline, we should at least within the next 2 years be automated. With respect to IP, that that part is already automated. You can access our services online. You can do your registrations. Like for a trademark that I'm telling you is, you get protection for your trademark for 10 years. You can renew it again. And it costs you only 1,500. So if you divide that 1,500 in 10 years, it's nothing compared to what you lose when somebody steals your idea or your brand. So you should think about it as an initial investment of, even before you go register the business, that idea alone, so that nobody else steals it or copies it, and then you become like, when we go, you find a Shabin, barbershop, what else is there? Car wash. Everybody is doing the same thing, and you ask, what makes me stand out from the crowd? So I would encourage you to do that. We are also trying to see, how do we demystify the story of IP by introducing intellectual property as part of the curriculum at the primary level as well as institutions of higher learning, because it's very important for you to know that from the beginning and know what is the value that it brings to the table. When it comes to higher education, we now also capacitated our universities like NUST and UNAM, help them to develop their own IP policy. Because if you are a researcher at the university, you research things, the question is, who should benefit? Must it really be 100% the university, or can you have a deal where at least you can also reap the benefits of what you came up with for the next years? Because it's a lot of money that comes from it. Currently, we are running various programs. We have the annual duty waiver. So if you have a business that you registered and forgot about it, come to our offices. We are waiving any penalties because you are supposed to pay annual duty annually. And then we will also help you to update your information. You submit something that's called beneficial ownership information as well. That one, we are specifically having an outreach program to explain to you what is it, why is it important. When you speak to NAMRA also, it's very important because they are competent authority, and we must provide them with up-to-date, accurate, and adequate beneficial ownership information, because we must know where the money is going. If we don't know where the money is going, then we allow people to steal and to launder money, because you need to identify, this is the business, but who is this warm blood that benefits from it. It's not necessarily the owner, so you need to know that, and that's how we really maintain the integrity of our financial systems. Otherwise, people will come and do what they will. You go do business with him, you don't even know who's benefiting. So the whole time they are trading in drugs or whatever, and maybe it's against your principles, so you need to know who you are doing business with. So we'll have a system that should be up, I think by December or so, a beneficial ownership register. You can go there, you type in NAMRA, it will tell you, NAMRA, the beneficial owners are XYZ, for you as a normal person. For NAMRA, it will go deeper and say to NAMRA, so-and-so actually is a beneficial owner because they own so many shares, or no, because they are the child of so-and-so, but there's an agreement that all profits must be paid to them. So it's all about who benefits from it or who is in control of the entity. So we'll have that up and running. Insofar as it relates to attracting investors, there's a big buzz going around the country about green hydrogen, oil and gas. But when you hear of green hydrogen and oil and gas, it's technology that powers these industries. With technology, there's IP. So as a country, when we are talking about green and gas, we should ask, who owns the intellectual property? Because it's the intellectual property that makes the money. They will come and do digging in this country. They can develop a new formula. But as a country, if that formula changes, we should benefit on the IP. So we should be negotiating IP as part of this agreement. But nobody's talking about it. Everybody's saying, how do we get into the business and make the money? And you might develop a new lubricant or an idea, so you should talk about the intellectual property of that thing. And it really has value and makes a lot of money in the long run. So from our side, I think the only message I can send to you tonight is to say, when you go into business, it's really an extraordinary journey. I have not been a business person myself. I was talking to my two colleagues from NAMRA to say, we are just employees. Tomorrow they decide to fire you, you have absolutely nothing. And it's therefore that we must take our hats off for brave people like yourselves who say, I'm going to run my own business. I'm going to be part and parcel of the economy, because we drive the economy through the businesses. There's nothing else. You create employment, whether it's only to you, feed your family, or to you and others that are part of your business. So I think you are critical, if not central, to us transforming this country and making it a greater economy where at least wealth can spread and go to others who are not as fortunate as us. So you must try, don't give up, and with respect to BIPA, come knock on our door. We really are open to help you. If you tell me, Ms. Vivienne, I need to register, I don't know how, I literally take my staff, they will sit with you, they will help you, because it's not our objective to make life more expensive and more challenging than what it is. And hopefully you will be patient with us until we are totally automated, then you access these things 24/7. So thank you very much, and I really wish you all the best in your future endeavors.